Hey, what's going on there, YouTube? Leonard here, back again with another deck profile for you all. So, after a few support cards were released for D Police, yeah, a D Police and Winter's Fighters Collection, which is coming up very, very soon. I was very, very excited to see a couple certain cards. And as you can tell, if it's for D Police, it's probably for D Robo, and it is. And if you can tell by the playmat, well, or the title, this is indeed D Robo deck profile of the Legion build. Just want to give a few shout outs real quick before we do this video. Shout out to my buddy Kevin for really helping me through this game and helping me, especially helped me make this deck. He's one of the best DP players that I've ever known my entire life for this game. And if I wanted any assistance, I'd always go to him. And there's a few other people too, but he's the only guy who really helps me with everything. If I ever had a question, he immediately answered and gave me all the support that I can to make this deck. Shout out to Jimmy. Support. He runs a counter at Ancient CityCon. I sponsor him from time to time, and when I do, I get free card sleeves such as these. He was there at Jacksonville Anime Day last year, and he gave me these as a way of saying thanks. And thank you for your support and all these products that I have. If it's figures, playmats, or even card sleeves, thanks a lot. And oh yeah, another thing. My buddy John got a job at Barnes& Noble. If you don't know what that is, it's a bookstore, I guess. I mean, I go to Books A Million in my area more than Barnes& Noble. I know a Barnes& Noble, but it's far away. Just a quick shout out. This book is fantastic. It's recommended by him, and it's amazing. There's a Tom Cruise movie. What is it? Like the day of tomorrow or something like that. It's based off this amazing manga. I really think you'd all enjoy. All right. Well, after those shout outs and thanks to a few of my buddies out there, let's get on to this deck profile. So I'll keep the strides off here. All right. So for the main deck, grade 3s. Let's see here. There we go. I play 4 of the Legion Revival. True Ultimate Dimensional Robo Great Daikaiser. This is the amazing Revival Legion for Great Dayusha. Its skill is, during your turn, if this unit is Legion and the number of cards in your soul is 3 or more with D-Robo in the name, he gets +1 crit. And Counterblast 1, when this unit drive checks a grade 3, if your Legion's mate crit is 2 or more, he can break a shield, and if it's a Perfect Guard, you nullify its effects. Next, of course, I play 4. The mate. Ultimate Dimensional Robo Great Dayusha. It's the mate him, of course. Skills Limit Break 4. During your turn, if the number of cards in your soul with D-Robo in the name is 3 or more, he gets +2001 crit. And if you have a non-dimensional D-Robo Vanguard or Rearguard, -2k. If you have a super dimensional Robo Dayusha in the soul, he gets +2k for cross ride. But I don't play the dimensional Robo in here because the cross ride really does not matter at all, especially if you're in Legion. Another shout out is not shout out, but like a tip is that if you use Dayusha's skill or Limit Break to get +2 and an extra crit, if you attack with your Vanguard, if it's in Legion, you don't add the extra crit from Dayusha. It's only the leader, not the mate. So you don't add his crit, just his. So he would already attack for 1 point of damage, 1 crit, I guess you would say. And he already gets a crit if his soul is 3 or more dimensional Robo in the name. So he would automatically inflict 2. You don't stack another because of the Legion mate. The Legion mate crit is just to get the extra effect off here, to break a shield. Just to let you guys know that. I got into a few arguments with some people when I played this deck. Those who didn't really play D-Robo too much, so I thought, why are you even arguing with me? About how I kept forgetting to deal another point of damage and how I would have won a few games because the mate's crit. I'm like, no, the mate's crit doesn't apply to anything when you deal damage. It's only for the effect of your shield breaking skill. Lastly, for the grade 3s, I play 3 Super Dimensional Robo Daikaiser. I was thinking of bumping this up to 4 and dropping a Dayusha to 3. But I only keep Dayusha at 4 because, you don't want to lose your Legion mates, and he's a good fodder on the field when you search. But 3 break rides always worked well for me. I'd always draw it out. If I don't, superior right into it. You know, build up that soul when you can't get it. Skill is Limit Break 4, Counterblast 1. When your D-Police rides this unit, you may pay the cost. If you do, it gets plus 10,000 in a crit and an extra effect. When your Vanguard's drive check reveals a grade 3, you choose one of your opponent's guardians and retire it. And if it's a perfect guard, you negate the effect to nullify an attack. So if you combo this with your Legion, and you broke road and then you perform Legion. If you drive check a 3 from the deck, you automatically break a shield for the break ride. And if you counterblast 1, you already drove check that 3. With his skill, with 1 drive check of a grade 3, you can break up to 2 shields. So if your opponent always has that urge to nullify twice or maybe play some quintet walls are actually the easiest ones to break. There you go. Just bust up 2 perfect guards with 1 grade 3. You drive check 2 grade 3s, that's 4 things out of the way for 2 counterblast. So that's absolutely amazing, and I think it's definitely a thing you should play in this deck. If you just go straight Legion like 4/4, that's fine, because Daikaiser's actually bumping up in price because of this announcement of new support in the Fighters Collection. If you guys didn't know, it's a Daikaiser Stride. If you have a heart with Daikaiser in the name, the Stride has the ability to break shields, and the other support is, I think it's a grade 2, it's cannon or something like that. In the trigger zone, when you check, the grade 2 becomes a grade 3. It's absolutely amazing. Like the things that D-Robo are getting are pretty darn busted in the Fighters Collection this year. Alright, well, let's go on to the grade 2s. I play 4. Dimensional Robo Die Dragon, 12k attacker, for BT08 for the double rare art. It did get a reprint as a rare, but if you want to play a deck, you'd always want to hollow it out as much as you can if it really matters that much. To me, it really doesn't matter, but I don't really like the way that they made the rare. If they had the rare that was like glossy foil, you can almost mistake it from a double rare from far away, then I totally play that. But these are only like 80 cents at my local card shop, so just pick those up. Next I play 4 Dimensional Robo Die Jet. This is an absolute must play in my opinion in this deck. So as you can tell, I play a lot of grade 3s, and your Vanguard and your Break Ride, and you're going to see as strides in the near future when I update this deck, will all depend on drive checking grade 3s, even though you'll have grade 2 support to be as a grade 3, which means I get to drop down on Dayusha and whatnot. But Die Jet's skill is GB1, once per turn, choose a grade 3 from your drop zone, put it to the top of the deck, and then shuffle your deck. And your Vanguard, you choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets plus 4,000 power, and a new ability. If the attack hits, counterblast 1, you draw 1 card. So it's a lot of pressure, and it cycles back your grade 3s. That's pretty much why I play. Alright, now let's move on to the grade 1s. You may have noticed that I don't play Die Barret, because I didn't find Die Barret to be completely useful in this deck, seeing how you need to conserve your counterblast for many things other than just pressure. So I chose to take Die Barret out. But you can totally put it in if you want. Just drop a Dayusha, maybe drop 1 dragon but I find this to work very, very well. Alright, for the grade 1s, I play 4 Dimensional Robo Die Mariner. This is definitely a old card from the times. Its skill is Activate from the Soul. Soul Blast it, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets plus 3,000 power. So when you use your starter, which is, spoiler, well, you already know, go Yusha, you slam Die Mariner in the Soul, Superior Ride, whichever grade 3 you'd need, not Dayusha, but one of these two. And when you rack up too much Soul, if you have these in the Soul, to stabilize it, you want to keep it to at least 3. Let's say you have like 6 or 7, if ever. Soul Blast these and, bump up your Vanguard, lower that Soul count, because it isn't absolutely mandatory to be like a Dark Irregular player. You only need at least 3, so that's why I play. Play 3 Die Line because nobody wants you to get your break right off, especially when you're in Legion. Your opponent wouldn't want you to have the ability to break shields if you missed your break ride ever. So just sitting at a Die Line, keep that limit break active. 4 Perfect Guard, of course. And because I don't play the Laurel build, because I don't feel like being dependent on using Laurel skill to rest all my cards on the field. I focus more on the aggression to break ride and on the final turn knock down my opponent either with a stride or on Legion. So I use Yuka. It's a GB version of Dai Lander, and it's not 6K, it's 7K this time, but it's a GB, but there's no cost, so no counterblast. Its skill is when this unit is placed on a rearguard circle, choose up to one of your Dimensional Robo units, and it gets plus 4,000 power. So this one, you choose any card, it gives plus 4,000 power. So you can power up a rearguard column if you wish, 9, 7, 16, make it a 20k column so your opponent can dish out a 10k. Give it to your Vanguard, so, if they nullify the Vanguard or if they guard with multiple 10ks and 5ks, at least they'll have to guard for more because you keep pumping up your Vanguard with so many of these. And that's pretty much it for the normal units. Now let's move on to the triggers. I play 4 Dimensional Robo Die Battles. This is the critical trigger version of Die Mariner. It's the exact same skill. I play 4 Die Wolf, so 8 crit. Play 4 Draw, Die Crane, and 4 Go Rescue, the Dimensional Robo heal trigger. Let's put that here. And of course, for the starter, I play Dimensional Robo Go Yusha. Skill: when your Dimensional Police rides over this, you call it out from the soul, and choose up to 4 of your rear guards. So including himself, it doesn't say 4 other rear guards. That would mean your entire field. Just choose 4 Dimensional Robo, put him into the soul. If you're sitting at a grade 2 or higher Dimensional Robo Vanguard, choose a grade 3 Superior Ride it. Alright, now let's move on to the Stride Zone. I play 4 99th Gen Dimensional Robo Commander Great Die Earth. It's a mouthful. Can we imagine what it was in Japanese? But its skill is once per turn, counterblast 2 and Persona Flip one of them in the G zone. If you have a heart with Dimensional Robo in this card name, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 and grade 2 and call them to separate rearguard circles. And if the number of face up in your G zones 2 or more, it gets plus 1 crit. So the strategy you would use with Die Earth is you'd want to not call out your Legion. You want to call out if you have an extra Break Ride or Legion mate in the deck. You want to call them out for 11k beaters, and then call out Die Jet, because when you start stacking with Die Earth, you're not going to keep your grade 3s on the field because you want them back into the deck. So you'd either call over them, wait for them to get run over, and whatnot. So you utilize your Die Jet or make more combo plays and attacks with Die Dragon to shuffle up your grade 3s back to the deck. Use their skills to stack on some more power to your Vanguard, constantly applying pressure every single turn by using your Die Jet. So that's the key combo with your Die Earth. I play 2 Super Cosmo Hero X Falcon. I don't play X Tiger in the deck because I don't see X Tiger needing to be played when the Daikaiser Legion comes out. And just for more pressure, because I absolutely love this card, just for the art itself and the name. I've seen this card to be more useful than a X Tiger, because the X Tiger, I've always had the attack nullified, and I've never really made use for an X Tiger, seeing how you need a Persona Flip or flip up another card in the G zone, so it's just another card gone. So I use X Falcon instead, and especially in late game, I have finished person off once with X Falcon. They did a 3 to pass, and I hit a heal trigger and 2 draws. So that was a lot of fun. And in case you guys don't know, its skill is counterblast 2 and discard a card from your hand. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard and it's 45,000 or higher in power, you choose one of your opponent's rear guards and put it into the damage zone. So it's if it hits, not only are you dealing a point of damage depending on if you hit crits or whatnot, but you're also putting in another card into damage just from the rearguard circle. And it doesn't specify that it has to be your opponent has to be 4 or less damage or 5 or less damage. It's just put a card in. So if they're already at 5, let's say 4, I didn't hit a single crit, deals 1 point of damage. Oh, let's say a card from your back row, slam it in there. That's game. For the 1-ofs, I play 1 Dark Superhuman Omega, taking him out later when the other strides are released. He's just good for another finisher. Skill is Counterblast 2, Soul Blast 1. Choose one of your rear guards and put it to the soul, and choose one of your opponent's vanguards, and that unit gets minus whatever unit you soul charge. So if you choose a grade 3 on your field, stride, consume that grade 3. Your opponent's now sitting at 0 if they're sitting at an 11k Vanguard because you subtract 11. Definitely really helps late game. I remember playing this in Zeal, but I don't play Zeal anymore. I kind of dropped that for D-Robo because D-Robo's Justice, so yeah, just one of. And finally for the last of the one-ofs in the Stride Zone, play Super Cosmic Hero X-Rogue. He's a promo, just so you know, so it might be a little more difficult to get him. Skills: when this unit attacks, hit a Vanguard, if the power is 37,000 or greater, draw a card, and your opponent has to choose one of his or her rear guards and retire it. So it's just a really good pressure card to go in for the first stride, especially if you weren't given enough counterblast for Die Earth. I mean, by the time you stride, you ought to be at 2 counterblast, but in the event that you don't, just use X-Rogue. Alright. Well, anyway, guys, that's it for my D-Robo deck profile. I really hope you all enjoy. This deck is a lot of fun, and right now it is played just for fun. I don't play this deck competitively. If I did, I'd definitely tech in Laurels, but, I'm not into all those plays to be dependent on one card of the deck. So, yeah, shout out to all my buddies out there, like I said in the beginning of the video. Hope you guys all enjoy, and there will be an updated deck profile for this deck later on this month when the Fighters Collection Winter comes out. And this is Leon Hard out. Peace.